Hi everyone, welcome to our Wednesday live session. Today I have with us Dr. Chia is a fellow pediatrician, my partner as well in Baby and Beyond. Let me just see if I can invite him over as we talk about, just give me a minute, confinement. You know, there are a lot of maybe MCO babies coming along and you are wondering whether to check into a confinement center, how safe it is, should you be at home, should you go there?
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Chia.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
You're still
This is
at work,
often I do this
working very hard on a Wednesday evening.
at Baby and Beyond Clinic. So,
Yes.
like you, I have to do my duties at Baby and Beyond Clinic. Thanks.
Yeah. So yours are Wednesdays, mine are Mondays.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Dr. Chia, would you like to tell everybody about yourself?
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm Rakhee's classmate. No, I'm just joking.
Wow.
My name is Cheah. I'm one of the founders of Baby and Beyond Clinics. All right, so we have one in Bangsa, which I'm in right now, and Rakhee does the one in Publica as well. All right, I'm also the founder of Amaby Parenting and Confinement Centre. All right, so this is a postnatal. I don't like to use the word confinement. It's a postnatal center that does a lot of educating young parents, on how to deal with their babies and children, what to do, and we also emphasize on good nutrition, and we help parents and engage the parents a lot in the center. So as you know, Confinement Center is booming right now. Lots of young parents would like to stay and for the 28 days of postnatal in a confinement center. So hence we taught me and Dr. Rama, who's a consultant obstetrician and gynae, to start up a center to actually set a path on what parents should know or young parents should know when they have a baby. And it's not that easy, and the kids are not easy, as all of us will find out. All right. And that's what the center is all about. It is not.
It's a very good
Sorry.
Sorry, it's a very good it's a very good initiative by you and Dr. Rama, because like a lot of us check into confinement centers or all these places, and we don't know what to expect. As a new mother, as a new father, you're completely lost, and having a pediatrician and an obstetrician right there with you to guide you through the first couple of weeks, I think is definitely reassuring as a mother. On my part, so definitely a good initiative on both parties. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, and if anybody else has any questions, so feel free to ask questions in the comment section. So Dr. Chia, is it safe for parents to actually go to a confinement center during this current pandemic?
That's a very good question, and I'm trying to cover that in the last few weeks during the MCO again. All right, it's as safe as what is practiced in the center. All right, as you know, in Malaysia, in the west coast of Malaysia, we have more than 200 confinement practices. So they can be a center where it's in the house, or they can be, in a building by itself. All right, or some of them are just located in apartments and all that. All right, so it is the SOP that makes the center safe. All right, so then we have to adhere to the SOP and make sure that the guests who are staying in and the staff adhere to the SOP as well. All right, so as you can see, as I said, there are houses that nowadays opened and to become a confinement center, and they are run by confinement ladies or some nurses. They have to adhere to SOP, which means, the app to scan, the questionnaires to say what is your, do you have any exposure and all that. And for the center that I have in Amaby, what we do is we follow the hospital SOP, actually, as close to the hospital SOP as possible. So every parent or parent-to-be, they have to be screened for their COVID test before they deliver in hospitals. So we go by that, and then right after the hospital, they check into the center. So we want to see the father and the mother's COVID results. All right. And of course, yeah, I don't truly practice the word confine as in, confined in the room and all that, because we want the parents to be together when they have their baby as well. So then, the father gets to go in and out if he's working. If he's not, we encourage him to stay in the center. So all our rooms are all suites, and we encourage fathers to stay in, actually. All right. We try to minimize the traffic, so we don't allow visitors at this point of time to visit. All right, and they can do like what we are doing, over the phone. Okay, so we don't allow visitors. So only the in-house guest gets to stay in. The other thing that most centers should look into is their staff, all right, and the safety of their staff. Now, I cannot stress that enough, because you need the staff to practice the safe practice. You can't. All our staff are permanent staff. They don't work elsewhere. They don't come in from other hospitals to the center to do locum. So our nurses are all our staff in the center. So they just go to work and go home, and go to work and go home. All right. So that's important. If the center hires nurses or staff who works locum in other hospital, then the risk will be higher. So please look into that as well, especially for those who are running confinement centers. I suggest they hire their own staff, and then of course they have to fulfill all the criteria in the SOP, as in masks and all that stuff, as in the hospital. All right, and not only the staff, then our kitchen staff, our house cleaning staff. All right, so we don't outsource all this to elsewhere. Okay, so all this, then we can maintain the safety of the center, and having a guarded and gated center actually helps a lot too. Then you can screen through all the people who are coming to the center, and all the fathers who go in to work and come back. They have to do their temperature scan, and they have to scan the MySejahtera, and then so those can be controlled as compared to centers who does not have a security in front, and they just give the card to anyone. Then it's difficult to control. Yeah, it's difficult to control. Yeah. So,
right. So what should parents look for in looking for a confinement center? So what are the criteria that you think they should look for when they're choosing a center? Besides having a handsome pediatrician like you on standby, what are the other criteria?
that is the least of the criteria. Okay. Now, I know there's lots of centers that's sprouting, all right? And of course, everyone does their marketing and all that. You got to look into, a few centers and ask the right questions, First of all, you got to look at your location, all right? Recently, there's so many around, so there'll be one nearby your location, even if it's far away. We have parents who were in Singapore, and they heard about us, and they decided to come back, deliver, and stay in the center, and then go back again. All right. Wow. So the location is important. So then you want somewhere that has proper not so bad traffic, and security-wise is important, because sometimes those locations are a bit rowdy, and especially at night when you're going in and out for the husband, then the safety-wise is not there. So the location is important. The second thing you need to know is basically budget. All right. So how much are you willing? True. Yeah. How much are you willing to spend on that 28 days, and what are the services that are given? Okay, so we have parents to be and all that who scout us out, and they've done their research. They are comparing us with other centers, and they say, oh, this center are giving us 2 massages. How many massages are you giving? This center provides manicure, pedicure, and a hairdo and a hair wash.
Wow.
We are running a training center. We're not running an aesthetic center and all
beauty salon.
Or beauty salon. So then those are not the clienteles that we want as well. So you need to find out what services are provided and whether we are okay with that. The third thing that a lot of people look into is their food. All right. So yeah, there
Yes.
are, some that are truly Chinese traditional and they want the traditional herbal
Yeah.
type of confinement food, then they should look for that. And then that should be their priority and their present, their preference. There are some that, for those of us who state our food or diet that we have is actually crafted by Dr. Tan, the nutritionist, who specialized in postnatal diet, basically, Dr. Tan Sui. And it is wholesome, it's nutritious, it's whole food, but we have a few different selections. So if you want Chinese food, we have Chinese food, we have Korean confinement food, we have Japanese confinement food. So it's all about the nutrition. So look into that. Yeah, look into that. Make sure they provide you good nutrition, because this center has been up and running for 2 years, almost 2 years. And, we've seen, we keep track of other centers as well and feedbacks from other centers. And, if they're serving you some, off the canned food and all that, I don't think that should be the center that they're looking for, So food is important because that's supposed to nourish you and recuperate and rejuvenate you. All right. So that's important. Then it comes to the services, as I mentioned. So of course, if, hairdo and makeup and pedicure, manicure is important, then you choose those who provide. There's so many now out in the market.
So many
All right.
choices.
Yes, there's so many choices. But having said that, sometimes during the MCO, you say, oh, no, we can't provide this, because it's MCO, we can't get people to come in. So, for our center, we managed to get everything in-house. Even our masseuses are in-house masseuses. They stay in the center.
Okay.
We don't need to hire them. They don't need to travel from other place to come. We used to have that,
That's
but last year's MCO, we sort all that out. Even our exercise trainer, is in-house. She's the sales and marketing manager of our center, and she's a trainer. She's a personal trainer. She used to be. All right. And then the exercise are done in the center itself. So all those things, baby massage and all that, my nurses are all trained to do it. All the lessons that are given still goes on, so there won't be any, because of MCO, we can't provide you this or that service. So ask about that, if MCO, what happens? I've heard of centers who, because babies are delivered in Columbia, Asia. I practice in Columbia, Asia, in Bukit Rimau. And, they will go to stay in the center. And I said, has the doctor visit? And I said, oh, no, the doctor say MCO cannot visit. I said, oh, okay. All right. So make sure when you ask, the center, make sure all these services can be established or provided during the MCO. All right. And and that's important because, you get what you pay for, basically. So those services, if it appeals to you, all right, then, hey, look, go for it. And again, the safety of the center, because there are some centers who shares room or common bathroom who doesn't have ensuite toilet or bathroom. So again, then you talk about the safety, and that's important. All right. I guess, it is important to have a very good start from the very beginning because, postpartum period can be stressful. I'm very sure, you have gone through postpartum yourself, Rakhee, couple of times.
Yes, 4 times.
Yep.
I was just going to ask you, there are actually 2 questions I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
One is you mentioned 28 days. Is there a package for 28 days? Because different cultures have different days for confinement. Is it a package sort of thing, or you can choose the number of days? Is that how it goes? Or?
The actual preparing period is actually 60 days or more than 20
Ours
days.
is 44 days.
45 days.
44 days, yeah.
Different culture has different. All right, the Chinese will practice 28 days. There's no fixed number to it. If you want to stay longer, then you could. Or if you want to stay a shorter period of time, you could. Yeah, it's just a transition. To me, it's that transition period. It's a transition of, recovering and yet having somebody to deal, another extra baby to deal with, in a family, whether you have other children in the family or not. It is that transition that's, I think, very important. Yes. And to get that support and help is important. All right. And otherwise it's difficult. And now it's difficult too, because we have a few last minute check-ins because with the MCO, they hired a confinement lady from a different state and now they can't come here. you know, so last minute they
Yeah, yeah.
cancel. So then they have
Last
to,
minute.
yeah, then they have to look around some more. All right. So that's why I
All
think
right.
centers and houses are picking up rather than confinement ladies staying in the house, you know, in that sense. Yeah.
We've
So,
got a question in the comment section,
yeah.
Cheah. I think it's from a friend of mine. Yeah, so it's from Sophie. So she says, what are some of the biggest challenges in postpartum management? So
For the mother or for the doctors? Okay, for
for
parents,
doctors, we know. I guess for
yeah,
the mothers.
for the mothers, I think it's a whole new change in your schedule, in your life, in everything. You know, so yeah, having a baby or the idea of having a baby if you're a first time parent, you know, it's really nice. It's like, oh no, we are embarking on our new journey and all that. And then all you need to do is, you know, on the first night or the second night, you're at home and the baby's crying nonstop and you don't know what to do. You have not established breastfeeding yet. Your breast milk has not
Yeah,
come out yet and you're stuck.
yeah.
You know, you're at home and, you know, even as a pediatrician, when I was a father, you know, it's tough. It is tough. You know,
It's
I'm
tough.
sure Rakhee will
It's
share
tough.
with you,
It
even after
really
4
will
kids, it
is
is
tough.
tough. You know, all right.
Yes, it is tough.
Yeah, so those are the
Yeah.
challenges. So you need some support. Now, in the past, you know, you have family members who go in and help you or other people to help you. That's well, that's great. You know, then at least you have that support. All right. Because I think, yeah, at this time, you need some support because there's so many things
Yeah.
changes. It's not just internally in your body, your hormones are changing,
Yes.
and you're tired all the time, you're waking up every 2 hours, everything is changing. So with that support,
Everything is changing.
yeah, then that 28 days is like a nice transition that you kind of know and get to know your baby better, and your baby get to know you better. You know, with the help of nurses and all that around. You know, when you're tired, you just pass them down to the nursery. You know,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
there will be nurses guiding you how to breastfeed your babies, how to use a breast pump, how to use
Okay.
your sterilizer. You know, because all those things will be new. You know, if you are a first time parent,
Yes.
you know, and these are the things that
And someone
we,
was asking now. Sorry.
yeah, these are the things that our center, you know, we have lessons for this. We actually get our nurses to teach them, okay, this lesson is for this lesson for that. Yep. Yeah, let's go ahead with the question then.
There's another question from Shin. She says, "May I know the ratio of nurses to a baby?"
Okay, we follow the ratio of nurses in the nursery in the hospital, which is 1 to 4. 1 is to 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay, this sort of pushes me to my next question, which is how do you, like in a confinement center or in your case, parenting center, I like the way you put parenting, how do you ensure connection during this confinement period? Because we know like not all fathers will get paternity leave. So some of them might have a day leave or 7 days leave like in the government, or some will actually take a whole month off and sit with their wife. But how do you ensure connection, especially now during the lockdown, where there's no visitors that's allowed? You know, it's just you and the baby and maybe the nurses that you're seeing, or maybe what, you know, when Dr. Chia comes, you get to see Dr. Chia. But how do you create connection with the family and, you
Yeah.
know, with husband or, you know?
This is very important to us, and hence the word parenting center, because we really want to encourage the whole parenting concept. So you can't separate the father from the mother with the baby, basically. So I don't really agree with that. So yeah, with the MCO it's hard, and especially working fathers. So what we do is we tell the parents, or we tell the working fathers, okay, yeah, if you have 2 weeks, stay for 2 weeks if you can, you know. But if you have to go to work, then go to work. All right. Then after you come back, you scan. You be truthful with what you say. All right. And you know, at any point, if you feel that you are in contact, then you have to ensure the safety of your wife, your baby, as well as all the in-house guests and the staff. So then they get to go in. They go in and they go straight up to the room. Now the food is served in a room only. We used to have nice
Uh,
dining areas, and we actually have a garden where they can actually sit and dine in the garden as well. You know, but
yeah.
we sort of during the MCO we have our own protocol that we say, okay, during this period, you know, there's no dining out in the living area,
Okay.
in the dining area and all that. So we kind of do that
Okay.
already. But I cannot separate the fathers and the mothers from the baby. That's for sure. You know,
Of
that's not the
course.
whole
Of
concept
course.
of what it's supposed to be. I know
Right.
some centers are practicing this. You know, if you go out, each time you come back, you got to do a swab, you know, and you have to stay 2 weeks. And, you know, that's not what parenting is all about. Now,
Yeah.
The next question is, what if I have other kids? What if I have other kids at home? So then again, it's going to be very dicey. All right. Now, all the schools are closed and the daycares and the kindergartens are closed. Some of them still can send their child to a daycare, which is a bit dicey because they get exposed to other kids. So
Yeah.
again, visits, I can't stop that. I can't stop that. I
Yeah.
think a family is a family, and we can't split a family just because of that. For 28 days, if you don't want to, you can't see your older children and all that. No, that's not going to happen.
Horrible.
It's horrible.
No.
So then everybody
Yeah.
has to be truthful and sincere and practice the SOP. If you want to bring a child in, straight to your room and straight up, you know. And of course, my housekeeping staff is there to clean up all the time. Yeah, so we have housekeeping
Okay.
staff around the clock. All right, so then that will ensure that the family stays together, because it's very important for family to stay together, especially when you have an addition to the family. I think that's
Yeah.
important. If you
Absolutely.
if you think about, in the olden generation, I know the Chinese practice is this: the husband can't even go to the room during the whole
Yeah.
confinement period.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
husband can't even go to the room.
Old
So
mother alone, and then you don't
yeah,
wash your
yeah. I
hair.
mean,
Then,
how are you going to
ooh,
encourage the bond between husband and wife when they have their child? So
yes.
from the
Correct.
word
Yeah.
go, you still have to have that going on. And
Absolutely.
we do provide for the fathers to, discuss, for convenience, hassle free, and the father can just order food from our center, and we will cook the father's food, healthy food,
Convenience. Yeah. Yeah.
for the
And your
fathers,
food
so that
looks
they
so
don't have to
good.
go
Oh
around
God.
and go to the, the food court and buy food and
In
all
one
that.
shot.
So the moment they
Yes.
come back, they can have food, so they can go for
Yeah.
28 days without
So
food.
convenient.
So we provide that service, and so that they don't go in and out, basically, and limit the traffic. Yep.
Excellent. So basically, in a whole gist, you're just saying that limit the number of times, limit exposure as much as possible, be
Correct.
truthful, maintain the SOPs, and ensure parenting connection is still there, and babies are not separated from the parents. These are the most important things that I've picked up from what you said so far.
Yeah.
But what are your tips or advice to mummies out there or daddies out there who are in a couple of months ready to pop anytime soon, and they're looking for a confinement center, or they're wondering what to do? Should I get a lady? Should I just just do it on my own, go wild and do it on my own? Or what is your advice to them?
I think the first question you ask yourself is, if you're going to have a baby soon, and if this is your first time, or even if your subsequent time, the biggest question is, can we cope? Are we
Yes.
able to cope? Because things are different now, all right? So are we able to
Yeah.
cope? So if you feel that you
Yeah.
can cope, well and good. If you have your own support
Yeah.
system and all that, you can cope, well and good. All right, then you don't have to think about centers like ours or any other centers. But if you feel that, okay, I think we need help, all right, it's not just for first-time parents. If you have a 3-year-old or 2-year-old at home
Mhm.
and you're going to bring another baby in, and if you think you need help, then I think going to a center for 28 days just for that transition will help a lot.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Correct. Yes.
I feel I think things are changing now, and of course, there's no regulation in confinement centers just yet. Last year in November, no, the year before last in November, the whole uh, group of ministry people from the Ministry of Health, Ministry of JKN, LPPKN, everyone, legal department, they came to our center. They want to form a task force to actually regulate confinement center. I think that's
confinement centers.
all right. So we, we want to also give our input for them to regulate, so that confinement practice will be regulated and it will be done properly. Because now any single one can open a confinement center. We have confinement opened by businessmen and all that, for the profit of it. Anyone can open one. But
correct.
running it properly is important, I think.
It's essence. Yeah, correct. Absolutely. I've got one last question. So what do you say about your staff being vaccinated? So COVID vaccine. So I'm going to throw that in.
Is this, whether you're vaccinated or you're not vaccinated, you still have to take all the precautions, because you're seeing, double vaccine and double dose, and still, there are people. So if your risk is high, if you get exposed to other people, even with the 2 doses of vaccine, whether it's nursing staff, healthcare profession, or even, other profession, please still comply to all this.
Yes.
I think it's important. All right. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Chia. This was very eye-opening, and now I don't plan to be another person in a confinement center anytime soon. I'm done with 4. Thank you. And your center was closed when my 4th one was born, so I couldn't appreciate the luxury of being in Amaby Center. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Chia. It will be good to see you physically one day soon. We're due for a reunion.
We were arranging a dinner for Baby and Beyond, and that didn't work out because of
we're perpetually never meeting with this whole pandemic, so hopefully sometime soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much once again. If anybody wants to check him out, that's Dr. Chia from Amaby. I've linked both the IG handles on this post, so if anybody has missed any of the beginning parts as well, how we discuss how to choose a confinement center, how they maintain SOPs, just scroll back on my IGTV as well as on my YouTube, or you can go into Amaby's IG handle and check it out there as well. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Bye, Dr. Chia.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.